I'm not going to fool around. I'm really serious about
You better fool around.
It's going to be a really serious
No, it's not.
video.
Not.
No,
There's
it's
a
not.
dog barking in the background.
Hi, I'm Nonie from the Village Bookshop.
I'm Joe.
Today we're doing a video from Anna Olson's book, Baking Day, and Joe picked up this book at the Village Bookshop. Joe picked up this book at the Village Bookshop in Bayfield, Ontario. Joe has chosen the recipe Fruit-Laden Nut Bread. I'm your assistant, so just tell me what you want me to do. I'm just here to observe and have lunch when we're done.
Okay, thanks, Nom. Today we're going to be starting with our whole wheat flour. I already have it measured out in the bowl, but one trick that I wanted to show you before we started was to aerate your flour. And it just means simply stir it around with a knife first so it's not all clumped together. We're going to use rolled oats. Don't use quick oats. You want the natural rolled oats. Unsweetened coconut, yeast will go in, flaxseed, we have cinnamon, salt, orange zest, honey. We have a mixture of nuts and seeds here. We have pumpkin seeds, almonds, and sunflower seeds. And then the fruit that I chose today was raisins and craisins. You can pick any combination of fruit that you want. 5 fruits, 2 fruits, same with the nuts and seeds. The only thing is that you should cut your fruit to match approximate size of your seeds. You can do the mixing now. I'll get you a wooden spoon.
Oh, that's the part I didn't want to do.
Yes, you just mix that nicely. So this is the flour. To that we're going to add, you're going to add your oats.
I have to add and mix?
Yeah, you're going to, yes dear. You're going to add your coconut. You're going to add your flaxseed. You're going to add your orange zest. This is all your dry ingredients. All of this packet of yeast.
Wow, so you add the yeast right in, you don't
In this one, different recipes call for different ways. This one calls for it to be mixed right in with the flour. Then you're going to add your cinnamon. We have salt to add to this mix as well, but this is the only recipe that I've ever had that says to mix this with the wet ingredients and let it sit for 15 minutes. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then you add the salt after. So that's for after. Did you wave?
No.
When we're getting our fluids ready to add, there's 2 ways that you can do it. One is that you can heat the liquids up on your stovetop, or the other is that you just run hot water and then add your milk and honey, and that's what we're going to do right now. You just want 1 cup of very warm water. And we'll test that at eye level and make sure.
It's a tiny bit more. Wait.
Okay, then to that.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty good.
Now we're adding a 1/2 cup. This is just 2% milk. Now the original recipe called for maple syrup, but I didn't have maple syrup, so I switched it to honey.
I put a well in the middle to pour it in. You know what I'm noticing, Joe?
What's that, no?
You and I are on our best behavior today. Is that your dog?
Yes, that's well, he's not my dog. He's Logan's puppy, Matthias. He's sad that he's missing out on the bread making experience. He loves bread. As a matter of fact, the other day when I came in, he'd gotten up on the counter and ate a 1/2 loaf of bread.
Just regular bread?
Yeah, actually these were hamburger buns.
Were they in the plastic?
Yeah, he bites through that.
Do you feed this dog?
Yeah, but he loves bread. If you find the spoons too much, you can clean it off and actually get in there with your hands.
I've been trying to avoid that actually.
As long as you get all the flour incorporated.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Now this recipe has something different that I've not experienced in bread making this winter. And that is, we're going to let this rest now for 15 minutes before we add the salt. And it's called autolyse. Have you heard that before? No?
I've never heard autolyse before.
We just have to let this sit for 15 minutes and then we'll add our salt.
Cheers.
This is life in Bayfield. We make bread, sit around and drink martinis in the afternoon.
Usually cocktail hour doesn't start till 5:30. But the older we get, the earlier it starts.
Dinner's at 4:30.
What's next here?
You just sprinkle the salt just over it and all around the bowl.
Okay. A little over the left shoulder for luck.
She doesn't do that in her own kitchen though.
Okay, I'm mixing it in. What about this? Is that all measured out? What's it for?
Later. Get out of there.
Haven't given me any lunch yet.
Now you have to knead it for 4
No,
minutes.
you're kneading it for 4 minutes. You're much strong. You've always been stronger than me.
What was the name of what we did to by letting it sit? No, do you remember?
Oh, God,
Release.
yeah.
What was this?
Let me see.
Release.
Hang on.
So for 4 minutes, when you're kneading, you don't want to put a lot more flour on this, but it will stick for a while until it really starts to hold together. So you need a little bit of flour. When you're kneading it, we try to rotate it because that helps as well to develop the gluten. But you'll know because it will feel stretchy and it'll bounce back just a little bit.
Okay, so Joe and I have been best friends since I was 10.
I was 9.
She always likes to add that in because now she feels she's younger than I am.
Yes, but you always like to brag that you were 13 first, 16 first, 18 first, 21 first.
Well,
Now you're 31st, 41st, 51st, and you were 61st. How old are you right now?
61.
I'm 60.
Boy, you look good when you do that.
Yeah.
That's why I let you do
Look
it.
like I know what I'm doing for a change.
You do really look like you know what you're doing.
So you'll see here on our bread, we just form it into a bowl, but you can see that it does bounce back and it has some elasticity to it and it looks smooth. So that's really what we want.
It looks good.
Okay, so we're going to let this sit for 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
90 minutes. My whole thing was I was going to be a straight man and be like, but you're being normal.
Well, I always try to do a good job at it.
See, doing a bad job at it is doing a good job at it.
So after 90 minutes, this is what your bread should look like. So it should be about double in size. It's really soft and puffy. Okay, so this, all we have to do is press it out.
Yeah.
And then this is our combined nuts and fruit and everything. And you just dump it on top.
Wow.
Work it into the flour. This is a little harder than it was the first time. You sure you don't want to do this?
You're up to it. I can tell.
Yeah.
You've always been strong. And I've always been your best supporter.
So it takes a cup of seeds and nuts and a cup and a half of fruit. So there's 2.5 cups of stuff we're adding to this.
It's packed.
Yeah, it's really packed. Okay, Fano, that's gonna go in the center of the pan. So we have a half hour and then we will be able to put the bread in the oven.
Oh,
See what
good.
it looks like then.
You can have lunch.
So our bread has rested for 30 minutes and we're just going to put a couple of slice marks on the top. We're going to place this in the oven for 15 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit and then reduce it to 375 and it will sit another about 35 minutes.
Joe, I've been thinking.
Start again.
Joe, I've been thinking.
I'm afraid to ask.
If I were you,
Mm-hmm.
I would call that part of your kitchen the butler's pantry. If it was in my house, I would definitely call it the butler's pantry because I like to name things in my house after things they have in manor houses.
Where's the butler? Because there's a maid, so maybe it should be the maid's quarters.
the pigs?
No, no butler's pantry.
Gives you an excuse to say but.
You never
one of my
saw a
favorite-
butt you never liked, or what do you say?
I prefer the word bum actually. I've never seen a bum I didn't like.
Well, we can call it the bum pantry. We just have about 4 minutes, and we'll see what the bread looks like.
We've got to hurry because it's going to be cocktail hour soon. We can talk about the old days.
51 years. How's that possible? We're not that old.
We're going to take care of each other.
That's
We're going to be wiping each other's
Nope.
bums. Listen, I'd have you wipe my bum right now.
what I'm saying.
Don't put this on the video. Whatever.
That's the best part.
No, you
That's
can't
the
have
best
that.
part of the video.
Are you kidding? This
Well,
is
we're
for the
making
bookshop.
bread. Well, we're making bread.
Yeah.
You want to wipe my bum right now? I want you to wipe my bum right now. Okay, let's see how we did. Smells good.
Oh.
It smells good. The raisins are a little dark.
They're not crispy though.
No. Now the way you tell if your bread is done is you tip it over and tap on it, but it's supposed to sound like a hollow drum. I'm gonna put it back in for 5 minutes, but I'm gonna put it
Really?
right on the rack. Yep.
But it's so dark.
But this one's not supposed to be crusty, and it looks darker than the picture.
It does look a lot darker than the picture.
And it looks like we got a hell of a lot more fruit in there. Because I think it says 1 cup of nuts and seeds, 1.5 cups of fruit.
Hang on. There's a lot of fruit and nuts in there, but most of our friends are fruit or nuts. See ya.
Bye.
Has this all been measured?
Why?
I won't eat it.
You don't eat the